Sunday Suds. One city votes whether to end beer sales on Sunday. Find out their decision. Scamming scare. Davis County is already struggling with cleanup, but what else should they be worried about? And tough times. With education prices on the rise, coming to a Utah school might be better for your wallet. We'll tell you why. I'm Rachel Schwartz.
And I'm Angela Santos. It's Wednesday, December 7th, and in Utah, it's 12 o'clock.
From KBYU and the BYU Department of Communications. This is the award-winning 11 News at noon.
Beer drinkers in Pleasant Grove can continue to buy their cold drafts even on Sundays. 11 News reporter Hannah Dunn went to the meeting last night at the city. Hannah, was the vote unanimous?
Not quite. The council voted 4-1 to continue to allow Sunday beer sales. But only after about an hour of heated debate did they finally come to their decision. In front of a packed audience, council members discussed at length whether to allow Sunday beer sales or not. Councilwoman Kim Robinson said it is not the government's role to dictate morality. Other council members said that it is too late to change the law.
The fact that it's out there now and people are doing it, you're now closing the barn door after the fact that the animals are already out. They're already doing it. They're already selling.
The issue first came up when a local gas station brought the question to the council just a few weeks ago. Could they or couldn't they sell alcohol on Sundays? BJ's gas station thought Sunday beer sales were prohibited, but wanted to sell it to boost revenue. They came to the city for answers.
We looked it up and we agreed with them. They can sell beer on Sundays. But in essence, we wanted to get with the city council to make sure that that is the direction they wanted to head.
But the council did adjust one part of the current ordinance. They voted to ban alcohol sales through drive-in windows, no matter what day of the week it is. Members of the council said it is too difficult to judge the identity and current demeanor of a customer by simply seeing them through a window. I learned a few more details of the code myself. It still bans alcohol sales between the hours of 1 and 7 a.m. And that takes place every day except for New Year's Eve.
Okay, so Pleasant Grove isn't the first city to do this, right?
No. Provo also just last month allowed beer to be sold on Sundays as well.
Great, thanks Hannah.
West Valley City Council reprimanded Mayor Mike Winder for writing media stories under a false name. The council said they appreciate Winder's effort to promote the city, but do not support his dishonesty in any way. Winder says he hopes the city can now heal from this controversy, but he has no intention of resigning.
A University of Utah professor is released from police custody after posting a $75,000 bail. Professor Grant Smith was in a Massachusetts jail after his arrest on November 26 for viewing child pornography on an airplane. Authorities say they're unsure if Smith has returned to Utah, but his next scheduled court date is in Boston on December 27th. A federal panel has asked Ogden's police chief to step down. A judge ruled that John Greiner violated the Hatch Act when he launched a campaign for state senate. While serving as chief, officials say newly elected Mayor Mike Caldwell will decide if he wants to fire Greiner when he takes office in January. Greiner currently has 60 days to leave his post.
The Utah Department of Commerce issued a scam warning for the people who were affected by last week's windstorm. They say when there's a disaster like this, fake companies try to scam people into thinking they can get a good deal on cleanup, but instead take the money and run. No one has reported any scammers yet, but the Department of Commerce wants to keep people on their toes. In most cases, the damages the winds caused were not to houses.
The tree, it was actually kind of miraculous. It could have fallen back and hit the house or the cars, and instead it fell forward into the empty, yard. So it didn't ever actually hit anything. So we were really lucky in terms of that, so we won't have.
If you are one of the unlucky few who needs a professional contractor, the Utah Department of Commerce gives a few tips to avoid a scam. They say you should ask for references and always get a written contract from the contractor. A Sandy family says they found their missing mother and her son right where they were supposed to be. Suzanne Rebus arrived in Florida while police were still searching Spanish Fort Canyon for her car. Rebus damaged her phone on her drive, and her family reported her missing when they couldn't contact her. Rebus finally called her daughter, bringing the search to an end.
The men who pleaded guilty to misapplying a pesticide near a Layton home have reached a settlement in court. The judge who signed off the plea deal recommends that the pest control company close doors for 3 years, putting all employees and customers on hold, as well as pay a $3,000 fine. The pesticide caused the death of 2 young girls, and sentencing is set for December 20th. Downtown Salt Lake can get ready for a lot of drama. The City Council approved Mayor Ralph Becker's $18 million plan to design a Broadway-style theater for Main Street. Supporters say the theater will provide jobs, increase tourism, and bring new life to downtown. But critics say construction will hurt local theaters and money is better spent elsewhere.
Alpine School District beat out Granite as the largest in Utah after 2,000 new students enrolled. The whole state is seeing an increase and plan on building more schools to accommodate the booming number of students. This growth has led to more ethnic diversity, and last year minorities made up 22% of students in Utah public schools. Family, friends, and supporters of the former American Fork Mayor Heber Thompson laid him to rest this morning. Thompson passed away Saturday at the age of 76 from a long illness. He served as mayor from 2006 to 2010, and before that, he was on the city's Planning and Zoning Commission. Those close to Thompson say they'll remember him for his life of service.
Still to come on 11 News at noon, expensive education, why you may want to leave the sun in California for a better price in Utah.
And Finders Keepers, a secret Santa in North Carolina is leaving behind more than just good cheer. Stay with us.
Times are tough for college students nationwide, but students in Utah might be better off compared to other states. 11 News reporter Chelsea Tobar tells us why students who choose to leave California and come to Utah may have less debt to worry about.
Allie Fouts and Rebecca Houso both grew up in Southern California. One chose to stay there for school, and the other made her way to Utah. But for Houso, her choice to stay means she's going to have to pay. Houso found that rising costs for schooling in California is nothing new.
Every way that they can get you right now, it's happening.
Houso says she loves living in California, but this Golden State has racked up nearly $50 trillion in debt, and students like her are taking the hit.
It's just horrible. It's too expensive.
But for Utah student Allie Fouts, her choice to leave California saves her some cash.
I haven't had to take out any loans so far, thankfully.
Even though California students pay out-of-state tuition for their first year here at state universities, tuition drops significantly after they become Utah residents, so low that it is even cheaper than California in-state tuition.
It was definitely worth it to go that year and pay the out-of-state tuition and then get residency and get in-state tuition instead of California's, because it just seems like their prices keep rising and rising.
She might not enjoy the sun and the surf like her California friends, but she says staying debt-free and getting a degree is worth a few cold winters. In Salt Lake, Chelsea Tobar, 11 News.
Chelsea tells me that Allie and Rebecca are both dedicated to finishing their college degrees, no matter what the price they have to pay.
A Detroit bus depot in peril, one close call for a surfer on the Oregon coast, and a North Carolina city lined with streets of pearls. Here's your look at news from across the nation. At least 5 buses went up in flames in a Detroit bus depot, filling the sky with smoke. Fire officials say there are hundreds of gallons of diesel fuel burning here, and it certainly is leaving its mark. A hazmat team quickly came to the fiery scene, but they aren't sure what caused the fire. So far, police haven't evacuated anyone from the surrounding homes. A female surfer is in the hospital after a shark attacked her off the Oregon coast. A stand-up paddler saw the struggle, put the woman on his board, and a nearby witness helped bring the woman to shore, where an ambulance was waiting. The victim got away with a bite on her leg and a torn-up board. Surfers say shark attacks are very rare in Oregon. And a secret Santa left a trail of valuable pearls across this North Carolina city. Attached to the gifts, a card that simply reads, Finders Keepers. One woman was so excited after finding a set of pearl earrings in a restroom that witnesses say the eruption of excitement sounded like someone had proposed. Donated by Hinson Gale Pearls, the jewelry is spreading holiday cheer. And that's your look at news from across the nation. Angela?
Thanks, Rachel. I wish I could have some of those pearls myself. When 11 News at noon returns. Pearl remembered, this time a different pearl. Today marks the 70th anniversary of one of the most influential days in American history.
And sunny skies with freezing temperatures again today. We'll have your 5-day forecast when we return.
So Jake, with all these cold mornings, have you bought an ice scraper yet?
I've had an ice scraper for a while.
That's good. I could have used one this morning. My whole windshield is covered with frost. This cold is just unbearable.
Luckily, I have a garage.
I wish I had a garage, but I'm out scraping every morning, which I'm sure a lot of people are. And
right
the cold weather has come, and it looks nice and warm out today. It's beautiful sunny skies as we take a look out, and you can see the snow-capped mountains. So it looks a little like winter, but not quite with the beautiful sunny weather that we're having, but that's going to change throughout the day because there's going to be a haze that's going to come in, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Right now it's 30 degrees outside and a light wind speed from the west, so it's going to stay pretty calm today as an area of high pressure will start to move in. We'll get up to about 33 degrees, and you can expect colder temperatures tonight as the sunset comes at about 5 p.m. So a low of 16 degrees tonight, and that haze that we talked about is going to be settling in. That high pressure is going to lock in that colder air, so hazier today and throughout the week. As we can see, the jet stream is sending colder air right down from Canada. That area of high pressure has just settled in, and it's going to put kind of like a cap over the valley, so the pollution is going to start to settle in a little bit more. Right now it's rated at moderate, so that's just a step below good. So it could potentially get a little bit worse, but hopefully not. It'll just be a little bit more hazy. So throughout the week, there's not going to be much of a storm, maybe a little bit tomorrow, but just some high clouds. 26 degrees in Logan right now, 24 in Vernal, and Logan and the Uinta Basin can expect some fog tonight because of that high pressure that is going to be keeping that colder air in. Cedar City is at 32 degrees, and they'll get into the negatives tonight. And southern Utah is a little bit colder than we can expect for this time of year, about 10 degrees colder, but they're going to start to warm up. By Thursday, it'll be into the 50s, and throughout the rest of the week, 50s and lows overnight in the 20s and 30s. And northern Utah warming up a little bit, 33 degrees today, and we'll start to warm up into the weekend, but Friday and Saturday, there's going to be that nice inversion that we're normally used to this time of year. So
still cold weather, though.
Still cold weather, just not that, winter wonderland we're hoping for. So.
We'll pray for the snow because then it will insulate and it will get warmer.
We'll get a little bit warmer, so it's true.
Thanks, Jake.
Yep.
Okay, so Brian, BYU is playing my parents' alma mater tonight. It's really exciting for
Weber State. I'm kind of thinking they might be a challenge for our Cougars. I don't know, Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, no, it really is. It's going to be one of the BYU men's basketball team's toughest tests so far as they welcome the nation's leading scorer to the Marriott Center. But the Cougars have some talent of their own. After the break, we'll show you which young star is stepping up and making a difference. Most Cougar fans knew Anson Winder only as the kid on the end of the bench last season, but now he's proven he can put points on the board. 11 Sports reporter Bridget Oster got to know BYU's most recent starting point guard.
Winder has led the team in assists in the 4 games he's started, and Coach Rose says while there's room for improvement, he thinks Winder will continue to contribute to the team's success.
Brock Zylstra, Craig Cusick, and now Anson Winder. The starting point guard position has been anything but predictable since National Player of the Year Jimmer Fredette graduated. But lately, Winder has impressed fans with his speed and agility. And he scored in double figures in 2 of the 4 games he's started.
It definitely means a lot, coming in, I didn't know I'd get as many minutes as I have been getting, and let alone know I'd be starting like this. So, it's definitely been good, and I've been enjoying it so far.
Schools including Nevada, SMU, and Portland recruited the redshirt freshman, but Winder chose to play in Provo despite not being a member of the LDS Church.
I picked BYU because it was close to home, and I wanted to get a really good education, let alone play for one of the best basketball teams in the country and one of the best coaching staffs.
Even though Coach Rose says he expects Winder to continue to see major playing time, come December 17th, Winder may lose his starting job. That's the day UCLA transfer point guard Matt Carlino becomes eligible to play for BYU. CBSSports.com named Carlino one of the top 25 transfers this season, and many expect him to start once he can play. Anson says he's willing to adjust if needed.
Any way I could come in and help my team, I'm willing to do it, whether if it's running the point or playing the wing spot,
Winder told me Coach Rose hasn't told him who will start at point guard when Carlino is eligible in 10 days. But if Winder continues to be successful, the Cougars will have another solid option at guard. Brian?
Thanks, Bridget. Up next for Anson and the Cougars is Weber State. They play tonight at the Marriott Center at 7 p.m. in what is sure to be a catfight. The Wildcats come in as one of the hottest teams in Utah, having lost only to St. Mary's, and that was on the road. They're led by junior guard Damian Lillard, who is averaging 28 points per game, and like I said earlier, that's leading the nation. After throwing for 363 yards and 3 touchdowns against Hawaii, Riley Nelson is in the running for the FRS National Quarterback Performance of the Year Award. The winner will be selected by you, the fan, and announced at the end of the bowl season. And on the hard court last night, 11th ranked Marquette tried to remain unbeaten, taking on Washington in the Jimmy V Classic. But they were down with about 10 seconds to go until Jay Crowder nails the clutch 3 for the win, keeping them undefeated for the season. So we got the game tonight, which is going to be pretty intense.
It's exciting for me because I don't really care who wins. It means something either way.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is people are saying that Weber State is probably the best basketball team in Utah, which is kind of weird coming from Weber State.
And with the best scorer in the nation, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good test for the Cougars to get it done tonight before they take on Baylor next week, which they're ranked in the top 10 of the country. So.
And this is Anson
I'm
Winder's shot,
guessing
too.
He just got jimmered, and that's why he's the best scorer in the nation. It really has to do with us.
Must be.
Basically.
Still to come on 11 News at noon. Infamous day. Hear from 2 American veterans who were there and will never forget what they said.
It's been 7 decades since the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, and survivors are gathering in Hawaii to mark the anniversary of the attack. Greg Black has all the interviews with all the veterans.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Those words, spoken 70 years ago, rang true then and still today. The attack on Hawaii's Pearl Harbor plunged America into World War II. The memories of that day are etched in the minds of those who survived.
It was just a tremendous amount of explosions, then the smoke. A little later on, the fire on top of the water.
The bombing was a surprise early on a Sunday morning. Some 2,400 American lives had been lost.
I was so shocked I didn't really have much of a feeling. But afterwards it haunted me.
Today is the last time the anniversary will be commemorated with the Pearl Harbor Survivors Association. The group is disbanding at the end of the month. With fewer survivors still alive, those who are left worry that the reality of the attack will die with them.
There's only about a half page in a history book about Pearl Harbor, and half of that half page is a picture of the Arizona. So our youngsters don't understand what really happened. They don't understand that freedom isn't free.
I'm Greg Black reporting.
That's very touching. It just makes you really grateful for all those people who die for our country.
Yeah, they give up so much, so it's great. I think we're all grateful for the service.
And I think most of us have been touched by somebody in our family who has served, who is serving. I know both my grandparents served, my brother served in Iraq, so I'm at least really grateful for everything that the people who are serving are doing.
Yeah.
I know. It's a nice time to actually remember veterans. So
most definitely.
And I just wanted to remind you guys, if you are traveling at all, the weather is going to be a little bit not clear, especially if you're traveling up in Cache Valley. There will be a lot of fog. So
thanks.
That's 11 News at noon for Wednesday, December 7th.
You can join us anytime on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon.